Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, told reporters on the way back from meetings in Germany that he was willing to give up the country's aim to join NATO military alliance in exchange for Western security guarantees. These would be Article 5 like security guarantees where attack on one is attack on us all. It's actually, we're the only state that has invoked it, the United States, after Afghanistan, where then multiple European countries then supported us. Zelensky said he was willing to compromise in order to further a peace deal. He is not willing so far to give up territory. There were discussions about him ceding or Ukraine ceding 10% of territory, especially in the Donbass region, which has been fought over for 11 years now. There's actually a fortress belt of cities that they call it, and he was not willing to do that. Both Ukraine and Russia have not been willing to create like a safe zone either, which is something that Trump and the GOP floated because it didn't really look like Putin was going to have to back up, 5 to 10 kilometers, whereas Ukraine was. And again, that would leave several major cities, those fortress cities, available for potential conquest in the future. So Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner are working through this right now. Remember, these are the two who basically turned over the Russian wish list as a U.S. plan and have been bouncing around the world striking deals for Trump, not for the United States, striking deals for Trump. So whatever they get out of this is going to benefit Trump. It won't benefit us. Um, Pressuring Ukraine like we have to back away from NATO aspirations does not benefit us in any way. We were using 5% of our defense budget to destroy 50 to 60, 70% of Russian combat power, which was like the greatest return on investment in military history. And as soon as Trump came back in office, he gave that up because Putin talks nice to him and probably has compromat on him, probably has stuff that he has to worry about. If all of that was the Jeffrey folders, and now that's where the tit for tat is happening with, MTG resigning and him pushing the peace plan, I don't know. But nothing is good. Nothing is good with this. The amount of pressure that we have put on Ukraine to bend to Putin, there's no benefit for the United States of America whatsoever. There's no benefit for Europe whatsoever. And now Ukraine is being pushed into a tough spot. Zelensky is being pushed in a tough spot. And this may just be a test for Putin. Like Zelensky saying, I'm willing to compromise on this. What are you willing to compromise on? And if Putin comes back and says nothing, that's a test. And it shows the world and it shows Europe that he's never really been willing to stop unless he gets everything he wants. And then we'll see how the US and Trump and the GOP respond. Will we support Ukraine and not let Putin take whatever he wants? And with Trump at the helm, who knows? Honestly, who knows? Um, So yeah, there's a lot going on right here. There's more meetings happening in the near future. Again, I mentioned, I think it was yesterday, about an EU meeting coming up next week. So there will be more discussion there. We haven't seen Washington's response to Zelensky's message or Putin's response yet. But again, Putin basically wanted everything that he wanted, and there was no compromise. So we'll see now that Zelensky has reached forward with this and offered this to step back from aspirations for NATO, if Putin will respond and give up anything, and he may not. And then Europe and everyone else is just going to have to decide if it's even worth negotiating with Putin anymore. If he's not willing to give up anything for this, that's not negotiations. That's just taking what you want, and that's not a way to set a future in Europe, especially with a guy like Putin running Russia. So we'll see if we have any SAC. We'll see if the U.S. has any SAC. We know EU does, especially after the recent push to use Russian assets, to freeze Russian assets, and potentially use them to fund the Ukrainian war against Russia. But there'll be more to follow in the next couple of days. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks.